Okay, 2012 AMC. This is problem 8 from the AMC12A and problem 13 from the AMC10A. It's a fun little problem, and it says an iterative average of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is computed in the following way. Arrange the 5 numbers in some order, find the mean of the first 2 numbers, then the mean of that with the third number, and then the mean of that with the fourth number, and finally the mean of that with the fifth number. What is the difference between the largest and the smallest possible values that can be obtained using this procedure? And I can argue, and I'll show you in a second why. What I'm going to argue here is that the way to get the largest number is to just order them in this order and then do 1 plus 2 divided by 2 plus 3 divided by 2 plus 4 divided by... That's the iterative average there. And the way to get the smallest is to have it in decreasing order. And the reason is this. So if I have the 5 terms, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. So I arrange them A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. The iterative average says do A1 plus A2 divided by 2 plus A3 divided by 2 plus A4, and this I don't know if we'd quite call it telescoping fraction. I usually don't see it like this, but it looks a lot like them, divided by 2 plus A5, all divided by 2. And what we can do with this is split them up, and so I'm going to just sort of jump to the answer, but I know that I have let's write this out. I know that I have this over 2 plus this over 2. Okay, so I know that I have A5 over 2 at the end. And if this is over 2, then this is the same thing as being over 4. So I sort of work my way up, and I see that now I have this over 4 and all of this over 4. So I'll have A4 over 4. So I'll have an A4 divided by 4. And then keep on working my way up. If this is over 4, then I know that this goes to 2, and 2 times 4 gives me 8, so I have this over 8, this A3 over 8, and I have, what color, there we go, this over 8, so I know that I have an A3 over 8, and I'll just split them all up. So as this is over 8, that 2 times 8 gets me to 16, so I have an A2 over 16 and an A1 over 16. Okay, now if you saw that from the beginning, that's ideal, is being able to see this from the very beginning, because that took a long time to explain. But now we know that when I look at this, the bigger the number the bigger number on the bottom decreases the top number by more. And let's just look at this one for instance. If I put 1 in here, 1 over 16 means that I have decreased this term by 15/16. And that's not too much. That's actually less than 1. But if I put a 5 in here, 5 over 16 decreases, so it goes from 5 down to 5/16. That decreases it by 4 and 11/16. That's going to give me, 75/16 if my math's correct. So much, much bigger if I put the 5 in here than if I put the 1. And a similar argument here, 1 divided by 2 decreases by 0.5. 5 divided by 2 decreases by 2.5. But you can see if the 5 is here, I've only decreased by 2.5. If the 5 is over here, I decrease it by 5 and more than 4.5. So, okay, let's look at our 2 iterative averages now. So I'm just going to go through and say, okay, smallest is when I order them as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 plus 4 is 9 divided by 2 is 9 halves. Plus 3 is, so 9 halves plus 3, which is 6 halves, gives me 15 halves. Divided by 2 to get the mean is 15 fourths. Plus 2, so 2 is the same as 8 fourths, which gives me 15 fourths plus 8 fourths is 23 fourths. Divided by 2 is 23 eighths. And 23 eighths plus 1, which is 8 eighths, gives me 31 over 8. So this is the smallest. Put that in a little box. The largest, and I'm running out of room, sorry about the ugliness of the ordering, but is when I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in this case, 1 plus 2 is 3, divided by 2 is 3 halves, plus 3, which is the same as 6 halves, gets me up to 9 halves, divided by 2 is 9 fourths, plus 4, which is the same as 16 fourths, is going to give me 25 fourths, divided by 2 is 25 eighths, plus 5, which is the same as 40 eighths. So 25 eighths plus 40 eighths is 65 eighths, divided by 2 is 65 sixteenths. And I just noticed I made a little mistake. I sure hope everyone caught that. I made it again. I am batting 1,000 right here. So this right here shouldn't have been eighths because I divided by 2 again. This should have been sixteenths. And then the final thing, the difference between them. Now, the final answer I'm looking for. So there's my biggest, there's my smallest. My answer is going to be 65 minus 31 over 16, the difference between the two of them, which is going to give me 34 sixteenths, and I can take a 2 out, which is then equal to 17 eighths. And I sure hope that's all my answers. Yes, it is. Choice C.